Good afternoon, gentlemen. Today we're here to announce the Bermuda national team that's going to represent Bermuda Cricket Board and Bermuda in the ICC Division 4 tournament in Malaysia. At this time, I'll let the coach announce the team.
Team is as follows: Taryn Frey captain, Dion Stubble vice captain, Gennaro Tucker, Stephen Bremer, Akira Bascom, Charles Trott, Stephen Otterbridge, Crazy James, Kamal Lavrock, Jacoby Robinson, Mackay Simmons, CJ Outerbridge, Kyrie Smith, and Trey Manders. Standby players are Jordan Smith, Zico Burgess, and Cameron Jeffers.
Obviously, Coach, you've made one change from the team that went to Argentina. You alluded to that back then, and what were you looking for in Argentina that made the decision to make the one change?
Well, it's hard to say because in Argentina you're talking about a T20 tournament. Then this is sort of obviously going into the T50 over tournament. We always knew that Stephen would come into the team because he has a vast amount of experience, and it was just a matter of, again, trying to strike a balance as to what is needed. And we felt that we needed the bowlers that we had. We were happy with the bowlers on tour. We just needed an extra bat. And you look at the players that were in contention, these guys have worked hard and they've earned the spot.
For the captain, obviously you've now seen the team. Taryn, what do you think about, now you include, he's your clubmate as well, so what does Stephen bring into this team?
Just like Coach has said, Stephen just brings another level of experience to the team that I think we definitely do need, especially in our batting. So he'll slot in at maybe 4 or 5, and just give a extra bit of depth to our middle order. I think that the team that we have now is a pretty strong team, especially seeing some of the performances done in Argentina. We played really well. The togetherness was there, and some cameos that we hadn't seen in a while blossomed during that tour. So it's promising.
For the coach, how does, now we've changed the structure of the tournament, because you said 2020, we played a few 50 over matches, but how do you think the team shapes up as far as batting lineup?
Again, we know that we look to score early in the power play. We definitely go with Taryn and Kamal up top. That's something that has worked for us over the last couple of games that we've been playing. And then it's a matter of fine-tuning. You have guys like Trey, you have guys like Dion, Steve, and Gennaro that can bat 3, 4, 5, and 6. Obviously, they will make up the bulk of the middle order. And then you got guys like Stephen Bremer and Mackay Simmons who are going to be battling for a place in the team. And then you have Akira Bascom as well. So we have a nucleus of players. It's just a matter of striking a balance, making sure that we have sufficient amount of players down the order that can come in and keep the scoreboard ticking over later on in the innings. And I would like to even think that we have some of our bowlers, and that's probably why a lot of people will probably be surprised at some of the players we picked. But when you look at a guy like Crazy, a guy like Charles, and even Jacoby, these guys can all hold the bat. So our batting lineup can actually go right down to 9, 10, 11, So I think overall as a team is very well balanced, and we have a good depth of everything.
How you feeling like captaincy? I mean, is that something you want to maybe take into league cricket as well, or how you just kind of see how it goes, see how it works out?
For league cricket, yeah, I just kind of want to see how it goes. As you know, Rodden is the captain of Bayless Bay, and I think he does an excellent job at what he does. If at some point he decides to step down, then I don't mind taking that up. But I'm definitely looking forward to this tour. This will be my first 50 over tour as captain. So you know, I'm looking. I know the expectations are high, but at the end of the day, I trust in all of my players. I feel like we all have each other's back, and they trust me. So, you know, I'm pretty confident.
And also, you got the newbies of the same squad. I mean, your former captain of Bay, Steve Nygrich, coming back into the team, it's pretty much the same team. Obviously, as before, you keep continuing on as well, and the gel, you guys are gelling very well together.
Yeah, I think that like we said, Steven, you know, he's a great person, individual outside of the game also. So him fitting in, I think, isn't going to be an issue. But for everyone else that was on the previous tour, you know, there wasn't really no issues. Guys got along fine. You know, off the field we got along real well. So I just think that it's just a matter of us playing well. I mean, having each other's back's not an issue, like I said. So we fight hard for each other, and we'll fight hard for our country also.
And it's going to be a big task to get the promotion, one of the promotion spots for the players. You got the players to do.
Yeah, I'm confident that we have a team that could win this tournament outright. It's not going to be easy. I mean, we've played against a few of these teams before. Well, pretty much all of them, I think, besides for Bermuda. Yeah, and it's not easy, and that's for sure. Like, these guys can play cricket. They have players that play in pro leagues, you know, so they are definitely going to come ready to play. And I feel like we're up for the task. I feel like our guys, we don't really worry too much about who we're playing against, but when we get out there, you know, we just put it all into play.
What do you think our strength is? Chasing runs or setting a target?
What do we do when
We normally set targets. We definitely are a team that likes to bat first, put teams under pressure. You know, if you look at the Division 4 tournament when we went to LA, every time we won the toss, we batted first, and that's just something that we feel is our strength. You know, putting runs on the target, and with Steven, like you said, with Steven coming in and adding to our batting lineup, I really think that if we can go out there and score 250 and above, we should really have some good chances. Now, we also have to take into consideration the wickets down there are going to be a little bit different. Just doing some research from the last time the tournament was in Malaysia, I mean, realistically, 200 was a good score in Malaysia. So that's something that we have to quickly assess, the wickets down there and what targets we want to be looking to accomplish batting first.
Lord, as the president of the Bermuda Cricket Board, obviously you're looking to go beyond Division 4. What is the board putting in place that how quickly things will get in motion if they're successful and get up to Division 3, because they Division 3 later this year?
Yes, it is. Actually, depends on what happens in this tour. We're looking to do something as well in the later part of the summer, if in preparation if we do go on to Division 3. But like I said, it all depends on what happens in Malaysia, and then finding the correct funding to actually put on something else. You know, looking at, because we did have a triangular commitment with, well, not a triangle, but biangular commitment with Canada. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping that we can, if we do pass this stage and move on to Division 3, look to get Canada into Bermuda this year, and get some games in so that we can start preparing ourselves for the Division 3.
So if we don't progress, the Canada humidity is over off for this year?
Well, it depends on what funding we can get. If we can find the correct funding that could bring Canada in, then we do. If not, then it's probably wouldn't be feasible for us.
Obviously, Clay, you got to be happy the fact that you guys had that time together in Argentina. What are some of the things you guys have been working on in between that tour and leading up to this to ensure that when we get to Malaysia, we hit the ground running?
One specific area, we've done a lot more fitness work since we've been back, and I have to take my hat off to Nick for stepping up to the plate. We've done a lot of beach work up at Elbow Beach every Thursday. There have been some players who have gone mornings like 6 o'clock down to his house, and he has a little gym there with some spinning bikes. So they've gone over and beyond where that is concerned in terms of their fitness, trying to improve our fitness, because we know Malaysia's going to be hot, and we're a team that has emphasizes running between the wicket. That's an area that we've based our focus on and trying to improve, and that's something that we know we have to have our fitness levels up so that we can maintain that. Outside of that, We've been doing some specific work with our bowlers, getting them particularly bowling a lot of variation, because we find that at this next level, you can't be running and bowling one or two balls. You have to have a lot more variety, and you have to be able to hit your spots more. So between variation and look at the hit, hit their marks on a more consistent basis, those are the main things that we've been focusing on.
Right. Back in 2005, when you guys got together to go on that run to qualify for the World Cup, do you see a little bit of that in this setup, in this team, the way you guys came together, or do you see it a little different?
A little bit of both. And I'll say that because in terms of the unity amongst these guys, as Taryn spoke to earlier, the unity is definitely there. So the camaraderie amongst the players on and off the field is there. From a coaching standpoint, I would have liked to see a little bit more commitment from the players. I realize that players, obviously, I've got a group of players, some guys work overtime, some guys have families and have other issues that they have to deal with, and you have to take all that in consideration. But that other group in 2005, I mean, we had probably an average of 15 to 20 players at every single training session without fail, and that same group was doing at least 6 to 8 guys maybe 3 times a week every morning. So, and that's something that I'm trying to get these guys to buy into and to aspire to. And like I said earlier, you know, we did have some guys going out to Knicks and doing some actual work in the morning. So they have a little bit of it, but I'm trying to get them to embrace it and say, listen, to get to that next level, we need more players doing it, so that collectively, you know, they're where they need to be.
What would you consider your biggest fear on this tour would be?
My biggest fear? It's the start. It's the start, simply because, you know, we're out of season. We haven't had a whole lot of playing time, but I honestly believe that if we get off to a good start, that will breed confidence throughout the team. If we get off to a bad start, then it may have a negative effect. So I think the very first game against Denmark is going to set the tone for us for the whole entire tournament.
Taryn, who are some of the players you rely on to help out during your captaincy of the tour?
During the captaincy, definitely first person I look at is Gennaro. You know, he's been around for a long time, and he's been a captain himself. And he has, you know, a lot of experience. So I look at Nero, Dion, vice captain for sure. Dion brings a different dynamic to the game. I want to say Dion's like his rough, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of want to listen to some of the things that he has to say. Kamo, for sure, Kamo's playing at a high level over in the UK. My wicketkeeper, Akira, he's always seeing things that I might not see from behind the stumps. And to be honest, he probably moves the players a lot more than I do, because he sees things differently in techniques and the batting and all of that. So those guys for sure I definitely look to for advice, because I'm new, like, you know, I'm still young, I'm still learning the game myself. So I'm always willing to ask questions. I ask Coach a lot of questions too in our meetings. You know, what does he think about this, and, you know, building combinations and things like that. But I wanted to touch on what Coach has said earlier about his main fear, and I think it kind of goes back to what we've been dealing with in the past tournaments. I feel like we kind of need at least 4 to 5 games of, you know, play before the tournament starts. I mean, a lot of these teams are doing that now, and, you know, when we get out there, I think that, you know, 4 minimum is kind of where you want to be at, because, like Coach said, that first game against Denmark, you want to come out with a strong net run rate. You want to be, you know, with a win on the charts, win your first 2 games in a tournament like this, and definitely set your standard right from the start. So I feel like as long as we feel like we're adequately prepared when it comes to matches, I feel like as a team we'll be fine, because traditionally and historically we always kind of slip up in maybe that first 1 or 2 matches of the tournaments, and then we're chasing after that. So I feel like if we could get those 2 wins out the way right off the bat, we should be okay.
with practice games, any practice games scheduled before you start?
At this current time, I don't know what's still. I know the board is still working on some things right now.
At the present moment, we have two options of how the teams can travel. It's basically, like I said, it's financially. Look, we have an option of going to Dubai for a week before the tournament, or going directly to Malaysia for the week before the tournament. Both of them include games before, thus assured what type of level of games before. Hoping if we go to Malaysia, we can get a couple games against the teams that are actually in the tournament. But if we go to Dubai, then it actually would probably be more of club games of teams in Dubai.
So you don't know when you're leaving, you still don't know what date you're leaving then?
Yeah, but they're definitely leaving on the 19th. It's just that they ain't sure which direction they're going as yet.
That's a week before the tournament actually starts then. Obviously, so you should get some games. Go over there and get some games, I guess.
Yes.
Audio